You don't have to be a mechanic to guarantee you'll come home with a good bike. However, I've got 5 tips that will stop you coming home with a nail. Buying privately gives you a chance to have a chat with the owner. Now, depending what sort of bike you go for, if the owner starts telling you about how he backed it in at the old hairpin at Donington, or how he used to chase some Ferrari down the A38, that might give you a few clues as to how he's looked after it and what sort of life it's led. Does it hold the back wheel as he changes gears? If he starts telling you them things, I'd probably walk away, or I'd start to look for abuse on the forks. However, if he starts to say, well, I went for this particular bike because it had the old ZX9R engine and I always loved that bike, but I can't because of my back, that tells you probably put a little more care into looking for a bike and maybe cared for it as much as you'd expect him to. Alright, so when you get to the person's house, don't make too many assumptions, but I like the cool old BM, although it is a little dirty, that's really nice. And outdoor storage for his other bike. 2 things there. One, might be struggling for space, might be tempted to get rid of this bike a little cheaper, but at least it's covered. Right, now let's go meet the guy. Oh mate, alright, I'm here to look at the Z.
Have it.
Might seem like an obvious one to check the tyres, but for when the 300 quid a set, it makes a difference to the value of the bike. This rear tyre doesn't match the front, that tells you one thing. Secondly, this rear tyre on this side has about 1 inch of chicken strip left. That's about normal. If the back tyre was fully squared off, I'd know the guy had just done motorway miles. It might explain why it's got 30,000 on the clock. The other side, completely marbled up. I can pick bits of rub off the other side. That says track day all day long. So get comfortable on the bike and then press everything. You want this on, off. Make sure the lights come on, off every time. Make sure that doesn't stick. Have a feel how the levers work. These are cheap, nasty, adjustable ones, but we'll get to that. Press every single button that it all clicks and is right, because everything in its expensive fit. On, off. Now that is terrible. That should not move back to there with no force. That can touch the bar too easy. You need to press everything you can press. Use the rear brake, rock it backwards and forwards. See how easy it is to get to neutral. Just press everything, feel everything. I mean, exactly. Probably the most important one, modifications. Now we've met the owner and I know a little bit about him, I'm glad there's not many mods on this bike. Standard exhaust cans, worth more when you come to resell it, sound a little better, get you to put your own edge on. Standard mirrors, although that one's, it's a bit faulty. Them, not a problem, 10 quid's worth to change. However, the thing that is the worst on this whole bike, stickers. Stickers everywhere. Now that either tells you a little bit more about the owner and his taste, or there's something to hide. There's a small dint on the tank there, and there's a really weird HEL sticker. Now there's this sticker on both sides. Feeling that, I can feel there's a chip under there. That's something to ask the owner about. But if I'm right, amazing what people think they can hide with a sticker. Since one of the only mods on the bike are these braided hoses, it's worth talking to him. Who fitted them? Why did you fit them? Because they're not in the clip properly. That one's rubbing against everything. The forks, the frame, the radiator as you turn. This one is in the clip, but is rubbing against the fender. So what do the modifications tell us about this bike? To me, budget. I mean, hiding a dint, that's a little sneaky, but I understand. Standard exhaust means he probably wasn't a complete tarmac terrorist either. While you're down here looking for general corrosion, just start thinking about all the things you've found. Put them all together, monetary value. Start looking for the state of that oil filter and how corroded that is. The salt deposits on there, the corrosion up there, the poorly fitted mods, the corroded chain. Add all that to the things we've seen earlier. What does that tell us? So you've been out for a ride. You think that power is probably going to get to you a little bit. Don't come back too enthusiastic. Think about all the things we've seen and learnt on this bike. The tyres show of a person who's on a budget or could do track days, just throw only rears on. Service history doesn't suggest it's happened. That oil filter, way too corroded, obviously not taken care of. The amount of salt and corrosion on this bike is a bike that's been ridden in the winter. Everything points to a bike that's thrashed, not all that well looked after. Probably not something you'd want to add to your garage. But I quite like these, so let's go and have a chat with the guy.
Have it.